Do we, Sam? Do we? Yo, what's going on, everybody? Sam's got to hit the unmute button, but what are you going to do? I'm Cat. That's Sam. It's NECC Playoffs, Division 2, Crossroads Division. We're back into it. It's the upper finals tonight, Sam. I get it. You're excited. It's tense. The mic, it wasn't ready to go. It was too excited.
It was too excited. Can you hear me now? Am I
What's going on?
I got it going now. Sorry about that, guys. Some crazy. Yeah, it's like Kat said. It's just so exciting what we have going on tonight. I mean, right? UGA Black taking on Cumberland Rising, an undefeated team, the one who's, in my opinion, the front runner of this pack, going up against an underdog, I guess.
Ooh,
with the UGA Black.
An underdog. I get it.
Yeah, see?
It's a good line, Sam. Yeah, let's jump into rosters. Let's take a look at Cumberland. You say they're the GOATs, so we might as well check them out. When it comes to Cumberland, the usernames, not quite what we expect them to be. We got SG12 and SG3 coming up tonight. Had an interesting run in Challengers qualifiers, a team that's not going to make it through the run this go around, unless something crazy happens in the rest of these quals. Had some tough games, fell to Lycus Empire, fell to a team that name is literally snoring, so fell to the 3Zs. A tough qualifying run for them, went out in top 32, but that's what it is.
Yeah, you know what? It is what it is sometimes, but at the very least, they stepped into that next level of competitive Valorant and were able to express their own competitive skills. Meanwhile, on the other side, UGA Black, Side Bays, Isco, Zach, and Tin. So, yeah, both of these teams, I mean, they've made it this far into the upper finals, Cat Nader. So we kind of get an idea of how, well, especially from the regular season, how they got here. But neither of these teams have intersected against each other. The best we can look at is the, Cumberland Phoenix taking on UC Patriots, where that team was able to beat UGA Black 2-0, but Cumberland Phoenix 2-1 them. And both of these teams so far in the playoffs, Cat, dropping just the one map.
Yep. Yeah, just the one map definitely makes things close. And you mentioned that we bring these teams in from two different divisions. So what is the strength of field really like? We'll have to find out. We'll see where the action takes place. Let's hop over to the pick and bans. Take a look at what our best of 3 set is going to look like. I will say, aside from the Haven pick, these teams, when it comes to past match statistics, are about 50 to 60 on every map. So everything should be fairly close. The Haven pick, the only thing that's going to jump out, UGA, a slightly worse Haven record, but clearly feel something good on it tonight.
Yeah, hoping at the very least, though, with starting off on Sunset, being able to tighten up some of the nuts and bolts from their UCSB game, where it was 13-4, and going up against Texas A&M White, where it was 13-11. So I'm feeling like wanting to see some of that improvement here for UGA Black going into the upper finals. Hopefully ironing out some of those kinks where we're in the new map. We don't have those unbreakable cipher trips anymore. And we're also in the reign of Neon, right? Where if you don't know how to use her well enough, it's a tough time out there.
Are we ever? I do also to harp on that game 2 pick, coming from UGA. They did win it against TAMU, which is a big win for them. Big win for anyone, really. It's a 13-11 scoreline. I will say on the other side of the bracket, though, Cumberland take it against the UC Patriots 13-3, which does concern me, right? Like, that's your map pick. You're going in with something that your opponent plays well, and Sam calls you the underdog as well. Like, that has me nervous, as both teams are so good at the map. But hey, if game 1 goes their way, they get momentum swinging, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm taking a quick look at that UC Patriots Haven game too. The thing that I think is interesting about that, right, was the UC Patriots playing at Yoru, but that's neither here nor there, right? Yeah, it's Yoru where we're living in a neon world. So I'm not going to discount them either, because the way that UGA Black plays, they do seem very comfortable with the neon. They do seem like they're really able to bring her to the, I guess, slide in where she needs to go. And especially for a map like Sunset, where it's small, where you can really get maximum value out of her, and where you don't have to worry about trips as much, right? New changes coming to Sunset, so that impacts the way that you entry onto B site. That makes Neon's life so much easier than what we previously had. And so if you're not a team that hasn't quite figured out those Cypher trips, right? Neon's well, running you down.
Yeah, absolutely so. And that concerns me for the other side as well. Case's Neon looks phenomenal. Dropped about 50 in their last matchup against the UC Patriots. So that's a Neon player. The Neon matchup, Sam, going to be insane between these two teams. I do like that point a lot, though, of depending on the ciphers, that could switch things up a bit. I will say, though, Bonky struggling, or not Bonky, excuse me. We're getting Zach more on Killjoys. So I don't know if that's a struggling to play the cipher, what that ends up being, if it's not as comfortable. But yeah, you mentioned patches, so we'll see what the case ends up being. But yeah, they got to shut case down if they're going to have success in what could be a Neon dominant map pool.
Yeah, no, it's trying to get some more of these ideas of what the players are looking like, how they feel, what they feel the most comfortable with being able to play, and even more so, especially with what we got this weekend coming out of Game Changers, right? Neon just continues to be that much. It's all about empowering your Neon to the best of your abilities, and then being able to follow through. Because it's not really that much difference when you're looking at the rest of the agent pool, right? You still have the standard agents wherever you feel comfortable with, depending on the map style. For Sunset, you're still seeing the typical Breach, Sova, Cypher, Omen, right? Because they just fill in those gaps so very well. And that's kind of the beauty of the duelist role, right? Is that interchangeability where you don't really need to flex away from something too much as long as you have been sitting comfortably in that meta for as long as it has been in the way that it's been going in your role, right? So for these teams, hopefully they are comfortable with what they have going on, right, Catinator? Because this is the upper finals. This is where it all takes place. This is, if you can make it tonight, you get to go into the grand finals. It's no better feeling than that.
No,
except for maybe winning it.
Well, wow. You're actually cooking, Sam. Unfortunately, you mentioned the fact this is upper final. So there is the lower bracket run to be made for either of these teams as well. They both come out on the higher end of their division standing. So that leaves good odds for those lower bracket runs to come through. Cumberland should be the team taking this one. Seed 1 against Seed 6. We'll see what the case ends up being. Map 1's on the way.
Map 1 on the way, and we get to go into the Agent Select, and I don't think this is very too much of a surprise, except for the Geo 2X Gecko versus the Isco Sova. So we're looking at the utility brought by the Gecko, you know, putting the spike in there, getting a little bit of an extra flash versus the information gathering, and not to mention the ult potential of a Sova.
Man, I gotta say, this map feels to me like it gets decided right here in this half. If you allow Case or SG3 in lobby to work through mid, I think this could be chalked very quickly. They already pick around it. They grab themselves the extra flash on the Gecko. UGA really going to have to hunker down on defense. And we have to see if they can make it happen.
Against them and already pushing out so far into mid and out through A, but no signs of life to be found there. Instead, it's all taking place on B. Cumberland Rising wasting no time with that wingman buddy, getting the plant down. But unfortunately for Sexy Giraffe, looking in the wrong direction, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, a lot of space and possibly just a bit too much of it. Gonna go take some shots to the head there. You'll see them slow it down now. Not gonna overextend too much. Dizzy does get broken quickly, and it's trades going
out. Oh my god!
One enemy remaining.
Unbelievable what just happened there, right? A double kill from John's Breach, and UGA Black playing it so patiently to get back on there. Cumberland Rising, yeah, that felt maybe a little too over-eager for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, number one note I have from that round is just overextension. Playing so far into extra space. They get the plant so quickly. I mean, it's a pistol round, you know, maybe a bit of a limit testing, a heat check early, see how much they can actually take. And unfortunately, it ends up not being that much, right? We talk about how confidently they won their last round, so obviously feeling like they can kind of stroll through some of these games, at 13-3, at 13-11. But in this case, it's not going to be that easy. UGA's proven that early, and now the chance to take a round here. It's a force up from Cumberland, so this will be telling for what is the rest of this half.
Ooh, back away from the Breach fault line. Stuck there for just a moment. Tip over onto the other side. We're getting some phenomenal Neon theatrics, but nowhere near enough to get rid of FaZe. He did do some damage, but the Omen is still alive. They're still able to do their things. But more importantly, Kat, Zach is spraying down with Ares. through this one way that they had set up on B. Even though Sexy Giraffe may have this Bulldog, for Cumberland Rising, most of the team, most of the squad is gone, and UGA Black still has the firepower and the numbers on their side. And the perfect flank.
Yeah, so like I'm telling you, I feel like a lot of this game will get decided on how well UGA can defend mid, and clearly have proven they can do just that. I still think Case, more overzealous than you'd like to see, has died both times now, trying to work through Link. The first round's kind of whatever, just extending off of that post plant, but that second round, I mean, really looking to slide in. FaZe does a good job of just holding the spray to convert that one, but that's a force that does not go their way. It's a free bonus now for UGA. And some question marks for Cumberland. Got to play this game much slower than they're playing it right now. So we'll see if they can get control of the pacing back here. It's only 2 rounds down.
Yeah, they got the neon brain, right? You want to get in there, you want to go fast, you want to overwhelm UGA Black, but so far this team is, well, very whelmed. Right now we're seeing the breach fault line, catching them so close off guard, but John is skirting away, bleeding and limping, but very much alive. Now gonna try and repay the favor against the neon that just happened against them, but again, it's just trading out utility, trading out space, but not really gaining too much off the back if you're Cumberland Rising. Oh,
a clean shot. Does get traded though. That's a rifle easy to receive if they can cross. It's all up to 10s here. Is go the first, 10's the second, so no worries at all. They'll cover that one nicely. Bale will take another, and that should just about wrap the round. Drado gonna look for an exit here, but really not much to be found. Duel's on its way. Does manage to win it. There's a Guardian there if they want it. Fake TT didn't grab the gun and will fall. Is going to pick it up. UGA 3-0.
That's gonna hurt.
All right, let's start the game, Sam. Gun round on the way.
Yeah, it's weird that we saw Cumberland Rising, right, do that force up in the second round where they weren't able to have the weapons for UGA Black's bonus. And so now they're finally able to cobble something together, but how you put UGA Black in such a, well, round differential lead, but now also the economic lead, which is going to hurt so bad, right? Look at how well off this team is versus Cumberland Rising, who is, if they don't win this round, is going to struggle throughout the rest of this half.
Yeah, absolutely. Just really that trust of, let's push the neon through mid. Don't worry, guys. I didn't get the pistol. It's fine. I had a pistol. What do you want me to do? I'm going to get the second round. Wasn't quite able to convert it. So you see a much slower mid approach here. You see some util. The Gecko and Neon are finally together. This is a free pick if I've ever seen one. And the second as well, even with the neural theft out. That's excellent work for them here. Almost taking one more. They will trade it out. So they get mid. Notice how there's a trade available in mid this go around, Sam?
Oh yeah, it makes the world of difference for Cumberland Rising. And even though Tense is down their entire team, they're still able to take some numbers for themselves into the grave beyond to send them where their teammates are right now. But you're not going to be able to do much more than that, right? You have to fight against 3 players. You have to get the spike defused. And not only that, is 2 initiators and the duelist. That, against those kind of odds, are always going to be working against you. And so for Tense, play it smart, play it wise, save your weapon, bringing it into the next round. But yeah, this change of pace from Cumberland Rising was so brilliant. And catching the UGA Black unawares, especially Bays inside of Market, was just the role that the ball needed to start going.
Yeah, you know, it's ironic to say that the slowing down of the pace is what actually gets the ball rolling forward. But yeah, definitely just taking the 3 into mid, allowing SG12 to find 2 early, and it's not the neon leading them in. Is that because SG3 is not playing well? Possibly. 0-3 in opening duels. It's been very tough early rounds so far for their neon, but regardless, we really haven't seen Gio or John step up to flash for the neon coming in. We haven't really seen the team execution come through. You have the extra flasher. We haven't seen any of that util expended just yet. So slow it down, get around under your belt, see the ball go through the hoop, and start working from there.
Yeah, this is always what I love the most about Sunset, is seeing the countering fault lines and how they're going to catch someone through it. But that's also where you're seeing some of the skill differential happening, right? There's no contact here just yet. So that fault line goes out, but where's the capitalization on it? So now you've used up a valuable piece of utility that you may have been able to slow down the push if there was that contact play. But now it's just not there. and you're going to throw out another flashbang. You know this Neon is set up, but you go over to the other side, right? You're seeing where Cumberland Rising is trying to push into the B site. It's taking them a lot of time. They're going to go through with the Thrash ultimate, dodging narrowly from the tripwire there, but Isco's Hunter's Fury gets rid of the Gecko, who is inside of their ultimate. And so now Cumberland Rising is still going to try and fight in there, but the Cypher is still alive. The Cypher is in this corner, and even though they may be blinded out, they're still fighting like their life depends on it. And for UGA Black, well, the round is theirs.
Yeah, that's great adaptation from UGA already. Just to back up, respect that they're going to get the mid space, allow for your Sova to float so you can utilize the Hunter's Fury there. Really rely on your Cypher setup for trips early. Get the info you need on the B site. Don't worry so much about actually fighting close for it and just use that utility. Do an excellent job there. And really quick adaptation as well. Typically, especially in collegiate, we see those changes of pacing from the offense. It almost means the defense warded out, instantly takes a timeout, have to solve it. That's not the case this go around. They solved it in one round. That, okay, they're going to play a lot slower. We'll match that pacing. We won't give them early picks. No trade potential for them. Let's hold back of sight. It works to perfection. Almost didn't need to play a post plant. Almost got solved even before that in the round. Now it comes down to Cumberland on the other end having to take that timeout. Say, okay, we tried to play fast. We tried to play slow. Nothing's working. What are we doing?
And I think that's going back to the point I made in the previous round where they're using utility, but it's not utility used to do anything with, right?
Yeah.
They're having a fault line just being used up through a main, but for what reason, right? To try and catch out a Neon who may have been pushed up, but no one's there, so it didn't matter either which way. You may have scared them off, you may have been able to gather some of the footstep information, but you already know they've been playing like that for so many rounds in a row. This time, though, UGA Black is changing things up. They're putting the Cypher on the A site where 3 are stacked in mid-cat.
Yeah, it's a hard UGA read of they've been big on mid, big on B. Vay's the catch in mid early as well. Recognizing they vacated mid so long, they should be able to creep something there, and they do just that. A great read from the Omen. Really, the defense playing this to perfection as it currently sits. This drone gonna catch the Cypher as well, so recognizing this mid overextension, they should be able to win this one against the lower weaponry. They certainly do. Isco has it, looking for more, and it will be trade potential from UGA. This defense really just clicking.
It's clicking, but it is taking down some of the numbers. The good news is, though, that no weapon upgrades is going to be given over to Cumberland Rising if you're UGA Black. They have to go in through mid, and the final 2 players of Cumberland Rising are hanging on by a thread. And it's just going to take a slight blow of the wind to snap that thread in half. Put a little bit more forward pressure onto them to be able to grab those weapons. The Odin on the ground, the Vandal there as well. Sexy Giraffe now peeking up with a Guardian. Still seeing some of that difficulties towards actually getting onto the site itself, right? Because you're waiting to hear for them to be able to do that. You go over on the other side. Wingman's going to plant it. And now it comes down to the 2v2 for the retake of this site. But again, right, all it takes is that one bullet and they are gone, but playing perfectly. Geo, 2x, 5 HP, a hope and a dream, and they've all come true.
Man, that is tough. That's a very good UGA defensive round that's just thwarted by better shots. Geo locks in from the back of the sights, able to pick up 2. Next thing you know, the round's over. I don't think UGA play that bad either. I think they do a good job of vacating the space in mid. As soon as FaZe picks up the first, they bring a second over to trade just in case there's any sort of offensive presence there. They even drone out for the extra info. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's an FPS game, and sometimes you just hit the shots.
And then you gotta know that Geo's feeling good about those shots that they did hit. Oh, overdrive. They want to go inside, but it's 2 HP again. That's not gonna stop this crazy Neon from blasting through over onto the other side and getting blasted down themselves. Wingman is going to stun out the Omen, but a quick TP over to the other side secures their safety. It's all about looking for the bodies. It's all about landing those shots, and UGA Black is back with a vengeance and a thirst for blood. Cumberland Rising denied the entry of this B site.
Just this Omen, man. That's their second pick now in the Neon early. These first bloods consistently going to this Omen player, just doing a fantastic job. No fear on those slides, really locking in and taking this player down. They play around their own smoke perfection as well. See that slide happen, force the Neon to turn around and just confidently take that gunfight. Never lost control of it, never lost focus.
Oh, no way!
Let's go flash, but alive?
No way! Isco is completely blinded, and what a flick to get back over there! But the Omen extraordinaire yet again to show off their skills and show off what this controller can do. Not only cloud your vision, but cloud the round out from your sight.
I think that comes to your point as well. Utility used but not capitalized on yet again. They flashpoint through the wall. They have Isco full blind. I mean, we stare at his point of view there. Can't see anything, and there's no one to swing out off of it. So there's util utilized, but there's really no capitalization on that utility yet again. So Cumberland having the extra initiators hasn't helped them at all. I mean, you can look at the stat line. Both initiators have 0 assists. They haven't found any frag potential off of this so far.
Go, go, go.
And they're going to look for another team execute here on Corday. Oh my gosh, this gets worse.
Yeah, you look at that. Yeah, they were by themselves. Where was the rest of the team, right? They were, you have your duelists pushed up so far by themselves. Meanwhile, both of your initiators haven't even pushed up through A main just yet. Quick jump peek's gonna spot out the Omen. They get away just in the nick of time, and not even blinded out by the paranoia, but you've already done your job. You've pushed them away. You've gained the space back that almost was lost, and now you just put down a smoke on B main because you never really know what's happening. But UGA Black still has firm control over the entirety of this map. Most importantly, the sites themselves.
Reaper from GO, the player that bailed them out 2 rounds ago, able to find a 2K on low HP and convert their second round win. That same sort of magic yet again. They've got Spike here, they got both initiators here. They have to work this mid control. It's been such a struggle for UGA to take it. Wow. It continues to be the case. One trade at the least. We'll go 1-1.
30
They'll
seconds.
go 1-1. Sexy Giraffe is going to be left behind with a parting present of almost no HP. Inside, you're gonna get a little bit of side of pain to go along with it. The exchanging of the rolling thunders, right? We have competing breach ultimates to try and slow down the defenders from getting over towards the site itself. Nice headshot, but it was the wallbang, really just trying to stop the wingman from getting there. But it's like you said, there's time, just barely enough to get the spike planted. No one to stop them. The aftershock is gonna go in, but no one to stop them there. There's gonna be another exchange of ultimates once more, but this poor Echo, time and time again, inside of that ultimate is not going to get anything from that. Flashbang over on the other side. They get in for the fight, but a brilliant swing through from Sexy Giraffe saves John life. But more importantly, the round itself.
Yeah, they're able to get that wingman killed. He put so far into the corner that all they can do is see it and shoot, but there's no capitalization off of it. They recognize as soon as they shoot that, there's going to be attention, and they haven't cleared any space towards Hall yet. So instead, they wrap back around, try to play as a team, and you give all the control back to the post plant team, who really just has to set crossfires and hold there, and that's exactly what they do. The mid trade is good. I think the biggest play in that round is probably Geo stepping forward. That neural theft came through, knew that players were going to peek off of it, and instantly peeks just before it pops off. One that's just going to distract the player you're playing against. And it's also going to make that player step forward, trying to capitalize on where that positioning is. So just a good read from the Gecko that gets them in the door.
Yeah, get the foot in the door, and then the rest of the team kicked it in. Just enough to be able to secure a third round for Cumberland Rising here. So it's still in contention for this first half, right? 5-3, and now finally we're seeing that utility being synced up a little more. Teams were pushed up further, and now your Neon isn't left alone. And see what happens when you work together as a team making these pushes. It's working phenomenally for Cumberland Rising, taking down the 2 defenders, leaving Isco behind by themselves. They get rid of the wingman, but now they know where the Sova is. Dump the utility in their face. There's the mosh pit, the aftershock, and finally, with that final barrier taken out, the spike planted.
I'm gonna call that a bait. I want to say they put Spike there to see if there's a player back at site. Because the util came almost immediately, and it came from the Gecko as well. So I think that might just actually be a little big brain play from Cumberland. So it works out for them. This one's tough for the Omen, trying to beat timing on the smoke. Gerardo has that no trouble. That's Zach in a 1v4.
All right.
Wants none of it.
I wouldn't either. Right?
Wouldn't, yeah.
Cumberland Rising. That timeout did a world of good for them, right, Kat? It's a couple, a 1 round lost since that timeout, and now they've managed to put us into 1 round difference between these two teams. And they are, for the most part, alive. It was done almost flawlessly. So you have 4 players still standing. Your economy is getting back into good shape. UGA Black has just been left wondering what is happening here. We were doing so well at the start, but Cumberland Rising is really changing the tempo and really changing the pace against us. And it's really coming down to the teamwork that Cumberland Rising is now remembering that they need to have in the game of Valorant.
Yeah, let's say they came out of their semifinal match very confidently, especially the Neon case could do whatever they wanted to in that series, and that's not the case anymore. You know, you're up against an opponent that also had a lot of regular season success. It's not the same story. Side, on the other hand, can do whatever they like. They'll pick up 2, looking for more off the slide, finally shut down, but Cumberland so low in player count now.
They even have the spike, though. That's what makes it so difficult.
Enemy remaining.
And Baze, the mirror in front of them shatters it down. All that's left is Sexy Giraffe. And this player, let's see how much more they have going for them to be able to win this, right? 2 players, they're taking down the ones. It's a 1v2, a very winnable, not possible, not meant to be, but Sexy Giraffe, they will not be denied the win, even if they have to do it all themselves.
Oh, the mid-round calling is abysmal defensively. They have full control of that one. Side locks in mid. They've got the player count so far ahead, but everybody just gives ones. There's no trade at all from the defense. They're set up perfectly to just 1, 2, 3 that out, and nobody runs it. It's so unfortunate to see, but alas, it does happen. So yet again, it's a bailout. It was a 2K to win round 7. And now it is a clean and crisp work on the clutch from the Cypher. So they'll pull it out. It's tough to see. And you see a much slower round from UGA because of it.
Yeah, right. That, oh my gosh. It's the simplest strategy, right? Just play together. Don't give the ones. And it just, it feels like now twice that's happened against UGA Black. Both by different players. And so Sexy Giraffe is exercising a much greater deal of caution, Catnator, right? Up goes the fast lane. But instead of running through, it's just firing through the smoke and trying to bait UGA Black to go to B. They're not buying that, right? They're not falling into that trap and instead leaning the 3 players they have on A and sticking them there, which is a good call.
So a much slower round from both of these teams. Jack gonna get a freebie there. Happy to have it.
30 seconds.
And so the lurk's down. They're gonna opt to run this one back off this neural theft. I don't hate the call, but that second ping is certainly giving it away.
Yeah, it is. And you saw, too, that UGA Black was trying to go over and reinforce A, but getting in on there quicker is everything that they may need. But the overdrive from side has ripped the head off the shoulders of Sexy Giraffe. It goes the wingman to play the spike. Now Zach is playing aim labs, and UGA Black is pulling ahead in the first half, 6-5. 1 more round to go in this half, Catnator. Cumberland Rising is looking to equal things out.
Yeah, they would definitely like pace to equal. I think their comp just favors the offense a little bit more. So that type of round lead is what it is, but at least to get it halfway would be nice. The call there to rotate off the neural theft, I understand. I think they probably should have ran it back, though. As soon as they were caught in spawn, just flip the map yet again. Because you really do telegraph that play insanely hard. But it's tough. They don't win the fights. UGA defensively doing a nice job yet again. They've had a good defensive half through and through.
It's definitely so far feels very worthy of the title of an upper finals matchup. It's all Neon Brain, right? It's get in there, slide all over the place, and abuse that technique as best you can. But Cumberland Rising, wiser in the rounds goes on, acts away, but here we have it, right? You put in the flashpoint, you give us a flashbang, and someone is able to actually use that flashbang. You may have lost someone, but it's both of the duelists gone. It'll hurt Cumberland Rising just a bit more than UGA Black, though.
Yeah, you need a plan for that really to take effect, though. It's really all they're losing here is retake potential. They're a team that hasn't had to take much retake opportunity. I think it's 1 or 2 for this half. Done a good job just kind of holding strong, so not losing any utility players. Pretty big for defense here. It's coming to take mid. They haven't had a lot of success in this area of the map. This time they've gotten farther than I'd say they had in the past. This base yet again shut it back down.
How does base do it every single time? Poor Zach, caught inside, but gets out of the detain. Just has enough to turn the tables on to Gio and Dorado. You may have tried to step into the shadows, but the only thing you're stepping into is death.
Switching sides.
Yeah, I mean, they just did not have a ton of success in mid throughout the map. There's 3 crucial rounds that Cumberland aren't able to take in mid. They go back to it after 3 rounds away. Once again, it's the same result. UGA play a really nice defense. There's 2 rounds that they lose purely off of shooting. I will actually say that the Cypher clutch is probably their fault. Just the fact that they could have traded it. Otherwise, that Geo round, what are you going to do? They played it together, just hit the shots. So really good defensive half, did a good job. Now they got to make it happen on the offense too. Cumberland on the other end, missing a bit of defensive utility, but can make up for it in the retake. It's a matter of having players left alive in the later stages of these rounds.
Okay, an entire UGA Black seeing if they can find green pastures here on the B site. Get rid of the wire immediately. Have no misconceptions about what's happening here, but look at this Cumberland Rising rotate. Every single player almost is on B, except for your Gecko, who's kind of in this middle ground between A and mid. And so if UGA Black can read this, which it certainly looks like they are, it's time to get the heck out of here and start the fight on A. Quick swing over from Isco, maybe grab 1 or 2 on the back foot before being traded out, but they just back off. They let him have it.
Yeah, before being traded out, or what? Not traded at all. Isco able to grab that one, swung into what was 3 players sitting in B main, and everybody's asleep at the wheel. So able to take one for free, walks completely away from this one, and UGA now have some info. They know for conditioning that CU is going to try to utilize the initiator utility to play forward, and they haven't lost anything. Instantly flip the map yet again. Suddenly B side's wide open.
Yeah. And they're basically doing this for free. Sexy Giraffe may be able to catch Zach off guard. Zach knew they were there, but couldn't land the shot. So the numbers are even against these 2 teams, but it's Cumberland Rising who has to fight against and go for the retake of a spike that's already planted. And what's even kind of crazier about this, right? You got to go through market. And UGA Black is doing what Cumberland Rising did, but better, it feels like. Almost Isco on track for the ace. Gets the 3K before being taken down by John. But it's a 2v2 to determine the fate of the second pistol round of Sunset. Just play the time, play against them, the 1v1, and UGA Black takes the first round of the second half.
Solid team play yet again. Just leave side back of sight. Is he betting his teammates? Sure, but is he winning the round? Also sure. So it works out nicely for them. You're happy to get baited if it means that you're winning the round. So UGA up now by 3, a pistol round that is huge in terms of controlling the rest of this game, and just finishing it out. Also know that Cumberland are quick to move, right? They put 4 in main early round. Cumberland sniffed that out. Instantly, they use that initiator utility to get themselves into main as well for the fight. They instantly rotated off. I think you know this team will jump if you pump fake it. So they've got the time now to really slow the pace down. They kind of have their opponent doing whatever they want them to.
We got a big gamble stack from Cumberland Rising. The spike is on A site. However, though, with the mind games that UGA likes to play, right, you might think they're going A when they could be ending up B. And that Sova utility would have been really valuable if it was going towards the site itself, but UGA Black more concerned with taking that mid control to go into market towards B, where it feels like they want to end up, but the breach is still there with Spike on A main. But they haven't heard hide nor tail of Cumberland Rising. So, Kat, it almost feels like at this point, Cumberland Rising is abusing the lack of information that UGA Black is getting into thinking that they're hiding out across the map where it's all on B.
Yeah, no worries, though. They're going to play this slow pacing. They'll get info on it pretty quickly. That smoke might actually play against their favor here. Going to start to work it away. The thing I don't love is that this offensive effort hasn't actually found any info, which doesn't mean much in this round, but it might mean something later. I mean, we're in the last 20 seconds, and they're just now execing A, a site that they haven't pushed up to check. So the implication of that on gun round scares me. That, like, what if there was a stack here? You would just see it now at 10 seconds. You'd have to kind of go win that
10
fight.
seconds left.
But fortunately, it is for free. So this round's whatever. You take it, plan's going to go down. We got Zach up close and personal.
Oh yeah, you're hearing every single one of the footsteps. Zach, you don't do him dirty like that, buddy. Sexy Giraffe is finally gonna put this demon to rest, but at what cost? On the entirety of your team, minus you. A couple of shots in the back, but you're gonna get run down. There is no 4K for you this time, Sexy Giraffe. UGA Black pulling ahead further and further.
Yeah, what's better than a Spectre up against an eco team at close range? Absolutely nothing. Zach, perfect positioning there. So patient in mid, doesn't get there until right before those rotations come through and works it nicely. Bonus going to come through. Sai going to have a Guardian into it. That's nice to see. Is going to give it to the teammate, actually. So, but still, into this fight, they're going to bring some rifles, too. So this is actually a pretty strong bonus. And if Cumberland lose this one, I'm nervous for the rest of the game.
Those kind of odds, right? Cumberland Rising, we saw them rise up against, but how much more can you do it when you're in the second half? And with UGA so far having done an excellent job, by the way, on Cumberland's map pick. It's a lot of pressure that you have to deal with if you're the Cumberland Rising squad. The Sexy Giraffe, right? You hear the paranoia coming, instead you throw it back with the flashpoint. And Dorado tries to go for the swing, but you swing into two players. And that's where UGA Black is really tightening the screws and fixing some of those issues. At the very least for Cumberland Rising, though, you've traded it out. And the health differential isn't so bad or so massive that it's really going to deal with anything here.
Absolutely. UGA doing a really good job of spotting this one out. They've zoned players the back of sight, and they've got everybody there to actually work on the approach. Haven't opted for it. Side swinging alone is awkward. Zach full running into sight, and that's a good job from SG12 just holding. Has no reason to move. I think UGA expecting that this team, they've been jumpy before. If we put pressure on A, they'll probably move. They even use util for it, but the lurk stayed strong. Lurk stayed true. Is dead now, but I did get the one. 2 low HP bars and a 2v2.
Yeah, really at this point, you kind of have to get the spike planted. You're running out of time, not only with the timer, but the players who are coming into the flank. And UGA Black has no earthly idea they're coming, but Tint has that feeling, the hair sticking up on the back of their necks, that they need to protect this. Both of your players aren't working at their maximum efficiency. Brilliant dodging and abusing the Guardian that Tint is using, but Isco is on the other side of this with 16 HP. Take the fight, get early, get aggressive in their face. But unfortunately, it doesn't work out on the second. John stands tall, but for Cumberland Rising, it took a lot. It took everything to get that spike diffused.
It certainly took everything. Took 4 players to get it done, and took one heck of a bait from Gio, running out
right there
with the knife in hand, slashing just to distract it. It works perfectly. Takes all the attention, lets his teammate John grab it instead. The Cumberland does pick up the round, but yeah, it takes some fakes to be converted. It really relies on SG12 to not jump, which does a great job at. But it gives a lot of information that really they're only playing this Cypher to the B site. UGA not going to capitalize on it in this round. They're heading back around this A heavy lean.
Right, you dump out the utility, you throw out the one-way, you put in the flash, and now you try to bait them out with the utility, but look at how UGA Black responds. An immediate util dump of their own, the paranoia, the flashbang, the fault line. There was no hope if you're an enemy Neon to get out of there, and UGA Black is trying to crush any and all hope before it even has a chance to form.
This is scary. The lurk's push now into B main. No util can save you here. It's going to grab one. It's an instantaneous trade. It's those little micro plays from Cumberland that's really costing them. They're going to get B side up here, unless Dorado has something to say about it.
Oh, how much more? You got a lot to say, Dorado. You're yelling it at the top of your lungs, buddy. Sometimes all it takes, Cat, is that one player, and they make all of the difference. Zach, pull your gun out, buddy. Unbelievable. Another 4K from one player of Cumberland Rising to put UGA Black in the ground.
Man, it's these little moments from this team. It's the micro that takes them out of it, but it's just the mechanics that bring them back in. It's Geo making big plays, it's SG12 making big plays, it's Gerardo somehow finding 3 from the back of the site to hold on. Those are disadvantageous fights too. They just kind of line up. There's a collateral to be converted for that 2K. But Cumberland really shooting their way back into this game. It's working nicely for them. Still down 2 rounds though. Mid the look for UGA.
Okay. Right. Small usage of the owl drone to see if anyone's pushed forward. And you know there is, right? If there's a neon, where there's a neon, there's going to be a breach. UGA Black wants to take the fight inside of mid, but they gotta go through this tripwire. And if they get rid of it, right, the alarm bells are gonna be ringing for Cumberland Rising, but they don't care about that. You put the smoke here, and you see Cumberland Rising spraying through there, but Sexy Giraffe, it was just on the other side of that fast lane, blinded just enough where Gerardo has the high ground, and they're on track to do it again. If they have to high themselves. 3 players make that the 4th for the second 4K in a row.
Yeah, 3 on the back of the site. You give 4 for market. Ridiculous stuff from Gerardo. It's a decent UGA round. That lane coming in is excellent. The fault line 2 to stun really lets side get in for free there. Close range weaponry as well makes that one possible to grab that first pick. The only thing is that lane really does obstruct their own vision, so no one's able to check above. So Gerardo kind of gets that one for free. Does a nice job of converting it and just continuing onwards. But again, it's that same storyline of there's really good macro play from UGA. There's better mechanics from CU that brings them back into it. So timeout going to come through here. UGA got to think of ways to use extra utility, make these fights as unfair as possible. Make sure that you're not facing gunplay. So when it does come down to this raw mechanical difference, it does seem to be Cumberland taking the rounds away.
Yeah, it's the moments where if Cumberland can get the foothold they're looking for, if one player has the opportunity, they will take all of it and more. And that's where UGA Black struggles with, but they are strong when it comes to their initiations, when it comes to playing well together as a team. So they just had to remember that, right? But now they come off the back of this timeout. Economy's not looking great, right, Kat? They're cobbling together light shields. We see a shorty in there, another Bucky for a side, and the only lone Vandal for Isco. And Cumberland Rising is feeling far too comfortable, especially with how easy that pickoff was for John. And Sexy Giraffe just does not care. They're gonna go out there, they're gonna go into mid, and Gerardo still gets to hold on to this bird's eye view, see everything, right? And you know exactly where Zach is. Trying to blind them out, but Gerardo is unafraid. And maybe that fear should have been there. Zach gets the double kill. Now you leave it all alone and all on the shoulders of Tense, who just has a stinger to their name.
Good flash turn from Gerardo. He wasn't quite able to convert. Good trades from Zach. Did pull the knife out there, thinking that one surely was done with. But there was the extra push there. Neon speed on the rotation just catches them off there, not expecting another player back to site. Puts Tense in this 1v2, has a lot of map to work with, has an ult to work with. I don't know if you want to throw it into this round. You did bring extra eco in this round, so pick up a rifle mid. Makes this one pretty winnable. You can get a plant down. You can play the Rolling Thunder for your post. But really banking on these players having rotated, and they certainly have not.
Not this time.
30 seconds left.
Right? Tense is... well, if there ever was a more appropriate name, I can't think of it right now. They are going to go on to the B site. Less than 20 seconds. And they're looking to plant it on the stairway. They didn't clear out Boba, and that's where the mistake is going to happen. They look behind them, but the actual attack was in front of them all along. Cumberland Rising. The first time on this map of Sunset, Nader, it's tied things up. It's 9-9.
It is indeed. I think that's the best way you can defensively play that round. Just hold both. Don't worry about overextending. You don't need extra space. Just hold on to what you have in B. Be ready to trade it. And then if you do have to rotate to A, you can do that together, and you have the best retaking agent for the job. You have your Neon still available, so good stuff from them. They don't get slided, they make it happen. Draft looking to take one out of Side's playbook. Maybe it should stay there.
Yeah, listen, if you're gonna rip the page out of the playbook, right, you gotta make sure that you read the entire thing. Before doing that, they went into that on a hope and a prayer, Catinator, that UGA Black wasn't protecting their flank or looking behind them or anything. Now for Cumberland Rising, it's seeing all of the players coming in their direction, where Sexy Giraffe is going to try and hold this for as long as they can. Sai's going to try to do the same thing, but unfortunately, it's Gerardo who has really come online and come of their own. And as I say that, they may have been taken out, but a Rolling Thunder is going to secure the entryway in for Cumberland Rising, and Isco, concussed out, couldn't get away from the aftershock in time. It comes down to the 2v2 and the spike defusal to determine the fate of this round, and if UGA Black can get into the lead. Now, you cannot let the Gecko abuse this fact again, right? The cage is up, but Geo is not holding that defuse, rather waiting to see what's going to be happening here. But the tip of the barrel is going to be the giveaway that the defuse isn't happening, and Geo played like a fiddle perfectly here by UGA Black, who has gone once again into the lead, into the double digits. But for how long, it feels like, Cat?
For how long? Cumberland still gonna have a timeout into this one if they need it. Haven't been afraid to use it either. Did use theirs in the first half to try to get things back on track. The reason why the game started coming closer than it was. They ran a 3-round streak off of that timeout.
That goes there.
So certainly still potential for adjustments here. The game hasn't got away from either team just yet. It's really 2 straight rounds. That would switch things up here. Isco looking to pull out an outlaw. That's got me interested. We'll see what comes to fruition. UGA yet again gonna really peel back the pacing. You see how set they are for that mid rush. They put the breach there just in case there was something else fishy from SG3. Didn't bring anything to the table though.
Nope, nothing yet. We haven't seen, right, UGA Black do an A push for a very long time, not since the second round of this half, and that Aldrone doesn't see anything. But if you're smart, if you're UGA Black, you gotta know from that flashbang that something is gonna be happening here, and something did happen. You lost your duelist, you don't have your Neon anymore, and now you just need to back away and try to play for something else over on the other side. Rolling Thunder, Hunter's Fury, so much commitment from UGA Black, but instead they get their feet blown off by Geo's mosh pit. A 2v4? What can UGA Black do here to get things back in their favor? That's a good start. That's a real good start.
Yeah, fortunately has a teammate there as well, so make sure that there's no refrag potential either. UGA, questionable choice to just brute force it. They do come in with the ult to try to make it happen, and it looks good thus far. It's gonna be yet again though this 2v2. Zach shot out one and finds the second as well. UGA finally, purely off mechanics, able to snatch a round away.
Finally for them, right? Cumberland Rising has had so many of those, right? A lot of put it on the fridge, mom get the camera worthy moments from Cumberland Rising, that UGA Black finally gets one of their own, and in what is such a key pivotal round. And that was so monumental for UGA Black that it forced a timeout from Cumberland Rising. Because what went wrong there? Everything was lined up so perfectly. They were doing so well. They won the early initiations. They got the first blood. They even got 2 ultimates from UGA Black, right? A Rolling Thunder and a Hunter's Fury. And if Cumberland Rising had won that round, that may have just spelled the end for UGA Black. But no, they skirt by the skin of their teeth. For whatever Cumberland Rising is thinking here, right? It's first of all, calm down, get everything back in order, and then really get into the meat and potatoes of what they need to do to stop UGA Black from getting onto match point.
Well, you know, they really do like to sit there and play the back of the A site. I think UGA has slowly realized that, which is why they're willing to invest ultimates in to that corner, willing to throw the Rolling Thunder there to try to catch those 3. Hunter's Fury as well. I do think Though that drone doesn't spot anything, it probably does hear footstep there from the 3 players sitting there. So it's a good call from UGA. So I think that shows us at this timeout we should probably get a defensive adjustment, and they've done just that. They've moved players away from A. They've promoted them now towards mid instead, not opting for nearly as much of it. And they've even put Geo further down to get early information of if there's anything coming A main in the first place. So we don't need to invest all our defensive resources in a site that's not getting taken.
Ooh, that's scary to put Geo as far as they did. And they've even committed the wingman to protect them on their retreat. So Spike gets planted. Now you don't have wingman anymore to go for that defuse. But you have made UGA Black decide that A is not where they want to take this fight, and instead do what they do best, play the mind games against Cumberland Rising, but eventually rotate towards B.
Look how quick that mid flow just got broken up. They put the Neon and Breach both in mid. All it took was that little bit of early round pressure to fully push them back away. Now they've got less resources, less quickly over to this B side. It's really up to SC12 to do it all.
I know exactly.
That corner, man. It's both of these teams just don't check the right corner where the player is hiding. This time, though, Sexy Giraffe only gets the one stuck in the corner. They knew exactly where side was. Thanks to Dizzy, just that little bit of a glow is good enough. The spike is planted, but what is your Sova doing all the way through mid? Alert of a lifetime, but they may not even need it. Okay, just yet, just a little bit longer, but Zach's kind of doing the same thing, right? Because John is completely unawares of what happens here, and now can Sexy Giraffe 3 make the difference that they need to, that their previous round could not have happened? Yes, they do.
Slow down.
I faced
You
worse.
put the entire post plant on this lurk.
Remember,
It doesn't have to
bullets
work
hurt.
all the way around any longer from spawn, so it's working back through market. You're gonna have the easiest 2v1 of your life, but you're just giving the peak away. There's no reason to play it that fast. He cannot be on Spike yet. It's just not possible. You're looking at a player with the lowest KD on the other team. The only possible way that SG3 can get out with that round is if you give 2 1v1s, and that's exactly what happens. He's happy to have them. Cumberland's happy to have the round, and now this game's about to be tied up with a lower econ UGA on a round they should have definitely won.
And what makes it even more of a knife in the back is the shot through the smoke. They knew that UGA Black was going to push through mid, but they didn't realize how valuable of a target they would get inside. And now FaZe is just on a suicide mission, it feels like. Regardless, the results speak for themselves, and now UGA Black, whatever crazy strategy they were hoping for, it's just been all thrown in the bin, and now flying by the seat of their pants gobbles together something out of this broken round.
All right, round's slowing down here. UGA still hope in it, but it really relies off these mid picks. We haven't seen them push their fangs deep into mid before. Gonna be timing right here. Shots that have to get hit, just unfortunately
mid.
don't. The window's small. Reach can't quite convert it. This one looking just about over, Sam.
I mean, unless we have some crazy plays from Isco, this is possible. This is very much within the realm
30
of
seconds.
actuality. But they need to be able to hit those shots cleanly, and they do. Your Cypher comes back around, picks up the spike. The only one who's left on A site is Geo. And for the first time in what feels like forever, UGA Black reads this correctly. They end up on the A site. No one is here except for that Gecko. They get the spike planted, and a silver lining, as thin as it may be, is there. Oh, Isco.
Player standing.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, there's some opportunities to work this round back. Can't quite find them, so you do a good job of just not giving too much. Quite simply, they don't give them the peaks that they would have liked. They make sure that one's very much going to be winnable for themselves. They convert in a round they'd like to have, so happy to have it. That should break the UGA eco as well. So we're looking at match point on its way for a team that really almost flundered the map.
Founded on their map, their own map pick. Cumberland Rising is really, I guess it's needed the warm-up of the first half and the little bits of this defensive half for themselves. But, I mean, looking over at UGA Black, right, they're doing decently well for themselves. I mean, Zach is topping the leaderboard at 25 and 16, but it's just these little misplays over and over and over again, where the teamwork is happening all throughout the round, but in the final few seconds, it all just goes away. It can't be happening, and you cannot let this game slip through your hands if you're UGA Black. But now we're gonna see Side fly and zoom in. They do get rid of Sexy Giraffe. Zach is gonna break down the door, but far too overeager. FaZe abusing the run and gun spray down of the Spectre. Spike is still taking some time to get planted, but it eventually does get there.
Guys, info off the TP. Fortunately, no one there physically to trade, so that is another teammate gone from UGA. Around that, somehow they're wrestling back in their direction. Weren't able to pick up any of the actual riflery though, so not quite where they wanted to be.
Guys,
there's rifles on this flank if they could find them. Geo just gonna spam that one. There's really not much to be done here. I mean, smoke goes up. That just about wraps around before it can even get going. There's no way to spray through that. And yeah, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, that's
Guys.
massively
like
unfortunate. Yeah, I think it's like, right, you plant the spike in the new areas of Sunset, right? You're planting it in that new spot inside of Elevator, but you have the thinnest of margins to be able to shoot at the spike. They weren't doing that, right? They were, I think, a little too afraid that, or maybe the Neon or whoever was trying to defuse the spike had moved over to the side, but now it's do or die for UGA Black, right? It's win this round, bring us into overtime. Otherwise, Cumberland Rising is going to take the first map of the upper finals. And for UGA Black, who had such a strong momentum gain, this time around, it's dirty, it's simple, it's plain, it's easy, but Sexy Giraffe is making this so much more difficult than what is supposed to have happened here. The neural theft is going to tell everything, going to reveal all in front of their eyes. FaZe, this judge buddy is the one that needs to get maximum value, but Sexy Giraffe, in the blink of an eye, it is all gone. A Hunter's Fury right back around with a Rolling Thunder of their own. They know that someone has to be here, but the spike now being defused. Zach completely uncontested, unchecked, has given UGA Black the opportunity that they were looking for. One last player. Do not let this falter, UGA Black. Tense, you have the flashbang, you have the fault line. Play for the time, play for your life. Sexy Giraffe off the spike defusal, gonna go for another one. Tense, knowing everything is on their shoulders.
Why'd you reswing?
But they went for the reswing. I think Cumberland Rising has enough time? Question mark? Oh my god. Point
Oh no.
for
I'm glad it's over.
1 seconds. Less than a second, Cat.
Oh, it's one reswing. The difference, man. Fault line comes through. It gets tucked. You know he's off spike. You just have to make sure it's not half. You saw that it wasn't half. And man, it's those little micro moments that continue to be a thorn in the side. That is, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Zach had it all set up perfectly for UGA Black. They just needed to win. They just needed to get that one extra push to get them over the edge. But my God, when Cumberland Rising, it feels like every single one of the players, if they need to rise to the occasion, they can, right? Sexy Giraffe was quiet the entire game until those rounds where they needed to be as loud as they could be. That was an insane game. I cannot believe how decisive that was, how close that was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really comes down to UGA do such a good job of working together as a team. Their trades are so phenomenal. But on the other end of things, it's Cumberland constantly shooting their way out of holes. It's Gerardo with 2 4Ks back-to-back to convert rounds that should never be getting one. UGA, fantastic team play to take sites, but who was it back at site? Gerardo picks up 4, does the same thing in market 1 round later. I mean, it's just tough. And it's really heartbreaking as well for a team that does play that well macro to realize, man, at the end of the day, these guys are just shooting the lights out. It's so tough to come back from. You can take a timeout, but how do you stop a team from hitting shots?
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully UGA Black is going to be able to figure that out going into the next map of Haven, which so far has been kind of crazy. But we do want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Winzel's Farm, and make sure to go and check them out. And also as well, G Fuel, where you can save 20% off your order with NECC 20. So, hey, you get your protein from Winzel's Farm. you go and get your G Fuel, exclamation point G Fuel if you're in the Twitch chat. Go and click that link, take you where you need to go. And you're primed and ready to go for what could be the final map in this upper finals if Cumberland Rising is able to take us there. We'll find out and more after the break.
Dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No, come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't put it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what. You finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Stay. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to NECC Valorant. We're in the upper finals where Cumberland Rising is 1-0 over UGA Black after I guess the only word that can be used for this, Catnator, is a heartbreaking end for UGA Black on that map, 13-11.
Yeah, lost it at the buzzer. Off one jiggle, gone too far. You do hate to see it. Cumberland, really the story of that one is the mechanics. Shot their way through it. Speaking of those mechanics, let's check out what some of those KD ratios look like from the stats of last game. It's players like SG12 finding 4 through mid alone to win them out in the first half. It's Dorado finding 8 kills in 2 rounds. The work this team is putting in is absolutely phenomenal, but of course not to be overstated by some of the UGA efforts. Just consistency, right?
Yeah,
winning their stats, just finding frags every round.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting case study here, right? Because UGA Black, stats-wise, did better. They had the more impressive numbers. Your MVP is Zach. They're the match MVP with 5 more frag outs than the opposing Cypher from Sexy Giraffe. But it's just the Cumberland Rising has these moments where they stomp down on UGA Black and really snuff out any of the flames that this team was starting to get going. And it's there's no better exemplary moment in that match than the final less than a second, Catnator. So hopefully UGA Black is able to wipe that map from their mind, wipe that one moment from their mind, and get things going for Haven, because otherwise it's the lower brackets for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Both these teams with good results on the map. UGA, it's their map pick going in, so certainly feeling confident. Now, Cumberland's last bout in the NECC on this map is a 13-3. For UGA, it's a 13-8. So Powerhouse is coming into this one. Cumberland with momentum, not just in that last map, but of course into this one as well. We'll see.
Yeah, and so far from what I've been able to tell, right, it's pretty much pure Haven Valorant. It's the Neon, Silver Breach, Cypher, Omen. So a lot of the similar consistencies that we had from Sunset. And I wouldn't be surprised here if we have just a complete mirror matchup, except for Side is going to give up the Jet for the Neon. Zach's going to give up the Cypher for the KJ. So missing out on some of that Neon power for more of that comfortability that you get from Jet. And the Zach KJ against the Cypher, that's a bold choice for Haven.
Yeah, bold choice, and bold choice against who your opponent is as well. I mentioned this on the top of the cast as well. We're looking at a Killjoy now going into this Neon, but fortunately the Neon didn't have a ton of results in the last map. So it's really the question of, does Case wake up? Last round, they played this map, I mentioned it was a 13-3. It was 30 frags for the Neon of Case. And already looking to get activated. Doesn't quite come through, but hey, it's the bait for the 2 trades.
Yeah, they heard the reload from Isco. And then what does Cumberland Rising decide? Let's just take that swing. Let's take that. Sexy Giraffe. They just catch him unawares, and a war being fought on all sides. Cumberland Rising is winning. UGA Black. There's no one left but poor Baze by himself. Even though he gets 1, how much more can you get in the 1v3? You also don't even have the spike.
Yeah, good point to note. You got to work for spike here. Fortunately, not a ton of protection actually on it. Cumberland's doing their due diligence to just cover the extremities, right? Hey, you can have spike. We're not going to worry about the trades, but here's what we have. We have A-site. You don't really have time to rotate, and if you do, Gerado's there to hear the footsteps. So playing this one perfectly for the defense right now. Bay's going to work right into their trap. They're already set. They've got the jump spot. This one's over just like that.
Yeah, I mean, you jump over the top right, and then you give John their 4K. What better way to top off the first round than by doing that in the first pistol round of Haven? A good showing yet again here from Cumberland Rising, and a staunch reminder, I think, to UGA Black why this team has been so dominant time and time again when it comes to the map of Haven, and some of the powers that we get from the more traditional composition that we have of the Cypher, of this Neon.
Revealing area.
Our John arrow down deep. Not going to pick up info, which means it will pick up info. It is going to be UGA working their way straight into mid. Gerado's been big from elevation in the past. This time with the Sheriff, good for 1.
And that's gotta hurt if you're Baze. You're just running it down, right? You saw your Neon fall, and you think things are gonna work differently for you, my friend. You got another thing coming to you, buddy. And my God, does Cumberland Rising. It's all coming together for them. Flawlessly executed, not losing a single gun going into their bonus round.
Not a single gun lost does make this bonus so very impactful. UGA gonna work to go back towards A here. A lot of potential to pick up weaponry if you are CU. Working quickly as well towards the Silva. Wouldn't be super shocked to see them dart early, send SG3 for space, and try to grab Orb here for a chance to grab this Hunter's Fury into the retake later.
Okay. UGA Black's been struggling. Sexy Giraffe is really wanting to set the momentum, set the pace for this relay bolt that landed perfectly on this team. But thankfully for UGA Black, they were able to equalize the numbers back out. But it's still going to be tough when you don't quite have the information that you could grab from your Sova. Oh, Dorado still hits that? It almost feels like a How moment, but How doesn't matter when they do. They dodge the Omen over on one side, they dodge the Aftershock from another, eventually into their waiting arms of Baze. Now John, the only piece of the only domino left to fall.
No chance.
He has fell one on the other side instead. Chance for a rifle here, trying to take a gunfight deep with the Spectre, not going to work in their favor. Does pick up the Bulldog and now the Vandals. Has gone through all stages of gun game, ready for the 1v2.
Oh, but what's important here, Catinator, is they heard one player on each side of that spike. So you see that John didn't want to push out of garage, rather come back in through CT, where UGA Black, smartly this time, by the way, instead of playing on the side, is going to back off and play for that post plant. They hear the spike being defused. They go for the they go for the fault line. Now they go for the flashbang. Please, dear God. I was getting flashbacks. There was no way that they were going to lose that round, but you want to go into the next with as many guns as possible.
Man, almost came back down to just the mechanics. Luckily, they sneak out of that one. John of 4K and the pistol had me a bit nervous. I'm not going to lie to you, but they do convert it. Some rifles lost. No harm, no foul. Truthfully, Eco's just about even here in this one. It'll be CU looking at a decent shot at a rebuy, especially if they can take rifles out of this round. See what the case ends up being for them. They've given up some more space here. They're going to look for this fault line combo. My eyes on SG3 early out of sewer.
Yeah, Sexy Giraffe's been having a lot of fun with that.
Whoa, that was super late.
Time around, though, right? Much better realization from UGA Black, but not quite enough that they live from the Hunter's Fury, right? So, Breach is gone for UGA Black. That's flashbangs. That's the fault line. That's going to make what UGA Black needs to do to get onto site so hard.
Absolutely. They kind of griefed the play there, but it kind of works out instead. The recognition of, okay, well, let's put Pop Hunter's Fury here, and hopefully that'll work out instead. They were going to early fault line, but the Neon was already in the way, so so he holds the fault line instead. Makes the play super awkward, but fortunately it does work out for them. Quick thinking from the Sova to make that one possible. So see, you're going to have this advantage here. They float players away from the A site here. They go towards B instead to make sure everything thought about here. Barrel spotted for Giraffe, so that's early info, and there's no chance you're really working through mid now.
No, not at all. You have to back away. You've seen some bullets whizzing past your head, so no chances that want to be taken there.
Left.
UGA Black is starting to run against the timer. They're starting to run against the clock, and Isco, even with as much ground as they've covered, hasn't gotten to the meat and potatoes of the site itself. And so they're inching forward piece by piece, but when you're getting the stress of the timer against you, right, less than 10 seconds, every misstep is going to be magnified tenfold, and you walk out of the smoke with no hopes and dreams because Cumberland Rising is flawlessly walking into the next round.
Yeah, it's just so much util left for the defense there. I mean, they tried to poke at B, but there was really nothing other than that dark cover, which is rechargeable. Expended early. There's players there. You recognize some gunshots come through. SG3, all it really takes is an attempt at this wallbang that he knows he's not going to hit, just to say, I'm here. You don't want the smoke. And they absolutely did not. They walked away. And it is UGA just trying to find options. I like that you mentioned the timer there. It really is the big one of if you want to poke for spacing, you've got to do it a bit quicker. Obviously, those early picks do kind of cost them in that front. It's going to be an early dart for info. John, a lot to do here, but it is against the eco.
It is against the eco, but yeah, that's going to hurt. They're going to feel that one in the morning. It's still good enough, though, that UGA Black, any form of resistance stonewalls this team immediately. Tins is still going to take some pot shots here, go for a couple of swings there. Liz is the most insane player with how much they think that they can get away with. This entire team, actually, how much more they think they can get away with. And you have Side still in sewers, but guess who's on the other side of this if you try to make a play for that lurk? Cumberland Rising, realizing the mistakes from Sunset, is doing a phenomenal job at fixing them this go around.
Right here.
Just go 2 HP, just hoping for something. Throwing shots at the wall and nothing gonna stick. He's down at least side in an inevitable death. False again for Cumberland. Fantastic work from them. UGA just really no answers yet. This rifle round, this is everything.
It really is, right? They're buying an Odin, no shields. Every single player with a Vandal and light shields. There is nothing going into the next round if UGA Black doesn't win this. And even if they do, right, Catinator, you want to get as many people across the finish line as you can because you're not having anything. And this right here from Cumberland Rising is such a brilliant read. They know they're here. They know they're out there and they are ready to go for it.
Really not even Neon needing to find value here, just needing to keep spacing. The teammate is going to get traded though. The wallbang comes through. That one's red just off the tracers. Isco's sitting there spamming. That's all the info you need. The LMG shots constantly coming through. The tracer's there. I know exactly where that player is. Easy to convert and does just that. And it's yet again UGA on the early contact, beat early. Cumberland just going to hold the spacing they've been presented. And now UGA have to find a way to fight back through all this defensive pressure.
That's I can't believe Dorado has posted themselves there. John has to go out and take that fight, but this gives Dorado the opportunity to do just that. UGA Black had the right ideas, right? Aftershock that wall, get in their face, but they weren't ready for how far forward Dorado pushed up. You would have thought you would have been able to see their barrel, but instead they were holding onto the wall. Brilliance in shining radiance from Cumberland Rising. And Baze, the only option, the only thing that you do at this stage, save your gun, man.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, all you really can do if you're allowed to do it. And so they needed guns across the finish line. Certainly have not gotten them. A rebuy still going to be difficult, even with this rifle coming out. Surprised, to be honest, that we didn't see the UGA timeout before that round. I think that round really signifies if CU are going to continue to control up until that halftime marker. So possibly the timeout for the eco and then just the hold until the gun round comes back around. They do give the rifle away, so Bay's able to take something. This is early contact. It's Cumberland doing a good job of working together to consistently trade. And UGA, we already know from map 1 they're not going to beat them mechanically. They just won't. It's players like Dorado, SQ3, SQ12 just hitting shots. It was Geo, who's also a big name in last game. He's kind of swapped over for John, which has proven that everybody on the Cumberland roster can hit shots. So if you're UGA, you really need macro game to win out. It certainly hasn't early in its defensive half. This round, I think you can chalk it really before it even starts. But we'll see what they bring to the table. Still no timeout.
Yeah, something's got to be brought to this table, right? Sexy Giraffe. Zach tried to get ahead of the curve by using the swarm grenade to slow Sexy Giraffe down, but this is a Neon we're talking about. They are faster than the speed of whatever you throw at them.
Yeah, name anything.
Yeah, it's just, what do you do here, right? UGA Black, they've tried so many different strategies, tried so many different plans, and none of them have worked. They're going to try for this mid poke, but smokes are going to come up here side, activating the jet dash. They heard the Neon sneak in, and so this may be as good as opportunity as any. And it was, but unfortunately, it always comes down to these gunfights that they take. And maybe Headside had a better weapon that could have gone differently, but at this stage of the game, even if they had a rifle, it just doesn't feel like it's their moment.
I mean, even if that went differently, it would have been a trade immediately off of it, regardless. It's CU winning those gunfights, right? But now they're winning them as trades. Like they're not taking anything silly. And that's really a key difference for them here. You see this again. John has all this contact here,
30
immediately
seconds
walks
left.
away. Who's there? A teammate. Constantly just making sure they have somebody there able to trade. SG12 information. He's forced these players in now. You have to make a decision. You either take sewer or you lose this round. That's pretty much all you're going to get here. They know they have to rotate so far. And if you're CU, you're expecting them, okay, they have to be playing A. There's no time. Fortunately, they can get this rotate
10
because there's
seconds
nobody here. Never mind. I'm going to eat my words. SG12's ready.
Yeah, the fault line is going to slow things down long enough for the
look
spike
at
to get
this.
planted. No, it's not. Sexy Giraffe, what did you just do? Oh my God.
I popped off. I'm not in the server and I popped off. That's huge from SQ12. That's the only way that UGA can win that round. And the awareness from the Cypher is so huge. They think this has to be A. There's no way it's not. SG12's been the lurk the whole time. He saw 10s early, recognizing that's where Spike is. There's a chance they could pivot this. Since 4 players are there, let me go take it over to C just in case. Oh, my trip's broken. They're definitely here. Fault line comes through. He's stunned, but players cannot get out of garage in time. And they have that dark cover as well that comes over cross map. It does have the range to get that far. That allows for the opportunity to come through. It's fantastic play from Cumberland early. Zach finally going to get the first frag for UGA. Can they turn it against this Cumberland momentum?
I mean, you have to try and fight against Sexy Giraffe. Those are always crazy odds, but finally, the odds are working in UGA Black's favor for once in this game and in their moment. But John, you're gonna get rid of the turret. You know that was active. The KJ is around here somewhere, and a knife in the dark is gonna remind them that you should always look in every direction that you possibly can. UGA Black, for the first time since the bonus round of Cumberland Rising, gets around.
Yeah, you can see Cumberland feeling very good after last round. Maybe play that one a bit too fast. They think, okay, we're going to take up space in A. Just make sure we have all this extra room. It's not as much util this go around. It's just a raw gunfight and one that Zach is going to pull out and win. So it's a really quick adjustment from the defense. Just, okay, maybe we do have to do the due diligence still. Maybe I do still have to go throw a dart first. Maybe I do have to throw a flashpoint first. So slowing the pace down. They bring extra players A as well, just in case UGA wants to repeat there. There's no contact. They'll rotate off. That's awkward.
Yeah, that's we're I think seeing a Cumberland Rising who needs to be taken down a peg right now.
Yeah, I think that's a great goal.
Yeah, we're going for these crazy plays. You have a Cypher pushing all the way up C long by themselves, and now doing even more insane things like this. Sir, get your gun out, buddy. This time, though, John was listening, right? Look wherever you can. But still, you're losing out in the rest of the war across the map. Cumberland Rising, you got 2 players left standing. UGA Black is operating at almost peak efficiency. The spike ticking away at their feet, and all 3 players are looking at the CT approach. Don't give them give them the ones, UGA. What is going on here? Geo gets a 2K, 3K. They lose the round, but they still got rid of almost the entirety of your team.
Yeah, Mr. Exit Frag. Just chilling there, hitting them all. And yeah, definitely could have swung a bit more together. It's what it is. You know, you're not expecting that on the exits, and that could be a big moment in terms of the rest of this half. They do kill their loss bonus in winning a round. That means they're really working with the eco that they've got. If they're not able to win the next 2, I don't know if they get a bye for last. The implications aren't crazy, though. It's going to be timeout for CU. This is an excellent call. Really, it comes down to exactly what you said, Sam. This team, a lot of confidence, playing a really good first half, starting to slowly push further and further. Like SG12, why are you down C long? There's no reason to be there. You've been such a good anchor on C. Slow down.
Play off your trips, right? That's your whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole everything about Cypher. I guess because they felt like it didn't work for them previously, they wanted to try and surprise UGA Black. But this team is really starting to catch on that someone is going to push out, right? And as long as UGA Black is playing together, they can at least get the trades off. I mean, we saw it happen in the first round that UGA Black won, right? You took out SG3. Then in the next round, you take out SG12. And so you're really on a safari hunt against the giraffes who keep being the first blood. That UGA Black is the stepping stone that they climb to win every single time.
Well, the Giraffes will stick their neck out A. They do have some spacing. They got a lot of room to work with, actually. And it's CU yet again, these early rotations. They have so many ults coming into this one. But John's stuck on site to make things awkward. That comes off the aftershock. Ridiculous from Geo. Happy to have that one. John will take side early. And just like that, the A push is no more.
Yeah, that was that like a flash aftershock combo? Because that happened in garage or sewer.
No, that happened in sewer. He just threw it through the wall.
Okay.
Might have been in drone. He probably stuck in drone. No one bombed it.
Yep. That's good call there. And Zach sidesteps the operator shot. They got to be so careful, though, right? Sexy Giraffe is unknown. They're going to expend the lockdown. But this is a fake, right, Catnator? This is all try to make them think of what's happening here. This is going to make John use the Hunter's Fury, but UGA Black is still under cover of night. The spike is not going to end up on B, but even to Geo to know that someone had lurked all the way through because there's been no signs of life elsewhere on the map. Cumberland Rising, that timeout was exactly what they needed.
Interesting call to try to work A-Link instead of C-Link after the ult comes through. I mean, it literally clears all that space. So if you're going to move somewhere, that would be the case. That would be the spot to move. Movement gap. SG3 happy to have that one. He's not done just yet. It's going to be an ult to come through. Full stun there on 10s. And SG3 just moving different.
Oh, no. Oh, no. This is why you play Neon, everyone. This is why you see Neon everywhere instead of Jet. You're not doing that on Jet. You're not zipping all over the place, sliding around, getting movement diff.
Dash window. What's that?
Yeah, right? And then Sexy Giraffe has also been excellent when it comes to their relay bolts, right? You have Tints, concussed, not able to do anything. And that actually gives Sexy Giraffe 3 first opportunity that they just get to casually walk over and frag out a little bit more and close out that round and give Cumberland Rising the first half, regardless of whatever happens from UGA Black.
Yeah, lead for sure. So great econ, so really can ride this one out all the way. UGA gonna need this round when SG3.
Well, there we go.
Looking for a lot.
Yeah, trying to carry the weight of the world on their back. Pull out here. That is a crazy place to be. They're gonna try and go and double dip here, but they went just a little bit too fast that the flashbang didn't go off in time to blind SG12. This player, right? You give them an inch, they're gonna take a bloody mile. And UGA Black, wind's been taken out of their sails. That much is for sure.
Yeah, certainly the boat moves slowly. Currently creeping its way up towards mid. And fortunately, the current's good. No one around to really slow the pacing down. So trip broken. Does give info they're here, but they've got some spacing at least. You get a spike plant here. Difficult to hold to. They try to work A-Link, got snuffed out. Wouldn't see them going there. So yeah, they're going to hold the spacing they can. Dark cover dropped early A-Link. There is no actual opposition in that direction. And Baze has the right ID early.
Yeah, right. Stay in towards the back of sight. You're hearing the aftershock being used to try and slow down someone if they were coming, I think, from A-Link. Shadow's going to come up. That's going to protect mid lurkers. Meanwhile, all eyes are on this C-Link, but they're really taking their time to get back towards the site. Gerardo is the one with the operator in hand. Over on the other side. It works. It's actually happening here for UGA Black. You just got to survive the operator. This is a 10,000 IQ move. Step into the shadows and then fake them out to come right back and win the matchup.
Yeah, that's clean.
Last round.
All from the back of the site just to get away. Step back in. Figured it'd be for info, but still works out quite nicely for the Omen. So is able to convert there. And it really comes off of two big factors. The first being John's jumping into that smoke with the shorty. So it was really giving their life away there. So Ten's able to pick that one up. And then it comes down to base playing back to the site, just using that early swing. As soon as Tens grabs that first pick, you see the 2 players from C-Link not even recognize that the back of site could be an option. They don't check it at all, and it's easy 2 picks picked up.
Yeah, as long as UGA Black gets the first blood on these rounds, against any of the FGs, by the way, they usually tend to convert them. But right now, you're in this really rough position where you've lost your jet from Garage by one of the SGs, SG-12. And now, UGA Black really struggles on what to do beyond that moment. This time around, though, it's just try to get on the C. You saw a player inside of Garage from the out drone. Now, hopefully, this time around, you're going to get the spike planted for not too much more blood than what was already spilled. Oh, but SG3 doesn't get any more further with that overdrive. And UGA Black is getting the frags that they need. Zach, this is a determining win for them. But Sexy Giraffe is going to hammer it down into the ground. A 2v3, UGA Black on the back foot.
The SG-12 just shot the lights out in Garage all the way through this round. It's the early pick to shut down the Neon, and then so much more from there, is making sure there's no lurk potential on this post plant. It's to pick up 1, turns to the second as well, and the Hunter's Fury good enough to finish the job. So UGA are able to work 2 rounds back. They've got it 7-5. CU still the advantage, but not nearly as much. Not to mention, Sam, we're starting to see CU slip back into those old ways as well. On Sunset, a lot of overstepping from this team, a lot of confidence in hero play that really costed them. They win the start of the half so confidently off of just always having a trade available to them. Now back on their offense, where we saw a lot of those mistakes of just players too far forward on Sunset. I'm concerned for how long they can keep a lead.
This is also too where right now we have the KJ really able to show what the differences they have against the Cypher, where you know, SG-12, we'll give it to them. They were really impressive. They were really showing off mechanically speaking, but the trips didn't get that much value, nor did their ultimate beyond grabbing some information to win in the very early rounds. This is where things get really scary if you're Zach, but if you're landing shots like that, you are the boogeyman yourself. Now you go inside of the smoke, you're blinded by the paranoia, but you're still landing these shots. 22 HP is all you need to get rid of Zach, but FaZe is a one-man army. 3 players, blood on their hands, grinning from ear to ear.
I like how they play that one too on the retake. They use that paranoia to force the whole team for Cumberland over to the side of site where they've got 3 ready to go. So they make sure those fights are so winnable for themselves. As barely able to convert 1 and be fragile and will walk away here. Can flank all the way. But 11 HP. They're chilling on spike. You need a miracle.
Yeah, you definitely need one of those. And there's the turret. So CT is going to be protected. Or no, rather main? Yeah, CT. Oh God, Zach. Make it look any cleaner, buddy. We'll call you Mr. Clean from now on. UGA Black, though, that is such an important pistol round that they've won, right? Because now, as long as they can convert this buy round, very, very much within the realm of possibility, they have tied up the map of Haven. They just need to get across that finish line. And if they can do it flawlessly, sky's the limit for what could happen in the bonus round.
Yeah, most certainly. Going to be that early push up A, so there's going to be a lot of early information here from UGA. And really rely on the extra man Garage, which they've already pushed through. They're going to push the Sova all the way back. They've got now all this utility from the initiator to know about C long. Alarm bot's about to be triggered, so you can capitalize on B now as well. And you see they instantly start to collapse.
Oh.
Yikes.
Oh, yeah. Yikes indeed. It's Sexy Giraffe, by the way. 12. I feel like the numbers are very important here.
Not to be confused with 3.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the player on the map. He's dead. Isco to have that one.
Yeah, but Isco needs to try and wade their way through the Dorado classic headshot. But, man, when they do it like that, you're already low on HP. It's as easy peasy, and Cumberland Rising is going to get the spike planted. Why? Breath is being stolen from me because Cumberland Rising has flipped the table on UGA Black.
There's the Neon up close. Woo! FaZe has been so good about not fearing this Neon pressure. Does it again. The player that really snuffed out Case that last map as well. Taking him 3-0 in terms of personal fights. This is going to be a tough one to convert
God,
now.
come on.
Dorado walks out and grabs 3. It's a 4K on the round. The Chico's never looked better.
That's not how it's supposed to happen. That's not how the script was written, Cat. I don't. Dorado, right?
Start of the series.
Dorado was 5-7 going into that round. Now they're positive. KD, they're feeling crisp, and they did it all with a sheriff. No, they started with a classic into a sheriff. Let's not forget that. I mean, Cumberland Rising, right? You have the numbers on your side. Haven is a defense-sided map. Put the 2 and 2 together, and you get that kind of round.
That is the 3rd time now that we've seen CU down and around, and their Omen turn around Dorado 4K to put the round as a win in the column. Just incredible stuff deep into rounds from this controller player.
Go forward a little bit more. Go backwards for just a second, right? You're really making sure that you don't give UGA Black the same opportunity that you had in the previous going. And if Cumberland Rising ends up here, right, things like that is very much possible. What just happened? That flick from side to secure the double kill. These players are... Why can't I do that?
The age-old question.
Last player standing.
Oh,
That's
side.
after side. Happy to have a 3K
30
under their
seconds
belt,
left.
and that leaves SG12 now in a world of trouble. Walk out into the mystery gang, who are happy to solve that one.
A thrifty flawless too, Cat. So they get all of the weapons
I need a
and
drone.
none of the losses.
Yeah, good call. Timeout gonna come through.
I need a timeout.
Some momentum for CU, and it's kind of the same case yet again. You know, they start rolling, they win these big round turning moments, and start to play just a bit off the rocker. So they're gonna try to reconcile things quickly. Coming out the timeout, they usually do look quite a bit more composed. So I like the call coming in. Didn't need it in the first half. Will decide they need it now. Just gonna slow the pacing back down. I think they did come back into this one as an eco, so I wouldn't expect much, though, saying that they just took one. So you never know.
Yeah, I guess these teams need to be operating on eco rounds, right? And then one player just decides that now's my time to really show off on stream. It's the upper finals. And I think they remember that for like a split second. Decide to go and get a, Dorado gets a 4K, side gets a 4K. And then all of a sudden, the second half of Haven is a big old question mark on what could happen in this round. Is Cumberland Rising going to continue to hold on to their lead? Or is UGA Black going to be able to tie things up? UGA Black has the weapons advantage, but that hasn't meant anything to Cumberland Rising. And the same could be said vice versa.
Slow around for CU early. They're going to work their way just into mid, see what they can find, see if anyone will give them a long-range duel. The Sheriffs can work their way, sweet talk a headshot, and possibly make something happen.
Hoping for some real big sweet talks. Okay, we got the double smoke in mid. One from each Omen. Sexy Giraffe sees the top of the head right there, right? And Side is going to get back over away from Sewer. You heard the neon right there as well, right? You heard them sliding towards you. And so it's kind of like playing a horror game at this moment if you're Jet. But they survive the monster. They aren't going to get sheriffed away. And this time around from UGA Black, right, rather than going out for anything crazy, it's playing on side, play the numbers, because they know what happened to them when Cumberland Rising gets their foot in the door.
Shadows traveling.
30 seconds left.
Still nothing really exposed for this team. They're going to try to work their way into garage now. That kill means another rifle netted. Tens is going to take the flank away. Bates a chance to really shut this one down early, just for one. So both players gonna have rifles here, good HP bars as well. No real util for the post. We'll see if they can find. It's Glow, no rifle in hand. John the first.
Yeah, John's over here on the other side towards Garage, right? They can isolate these ones. They can win this, but as long as they have to go inside of an Odin forces them to the other side, well, it's all written in blood. But for UGA Black, it's now written into a tie, 8-8.
Yeah, they managed to bring it back. Cumberland did just take their timeout, are going to come back now with rifles, so should be a closer round. We'll see what their adjustments actually end up being. Couldn't find anything in mid early. Haven't really had to face that much pressure in terms of really outside of that pistol round, so would be interested to see them lean back in that direction, just see what they can find. Ult Econ coming up for them now as well, getting very close to some of these big post-plan ultimates. It does look like they're thinking about the alien. It is going to be a new player in this one, though. It's Sides Operator.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen the operator from UGA Black. Dorado in command of it for Cumberland Rising, but that was a fizzle out. There ever was time for that. You're hearing a lot of action happening towards mid, though. The Odin spray was going through. No, this is crazy if you're Zach. This is where Side is able to keep things even against Sexy Giraffe. Again, we're trying to go through Garage if you're Cumberland Rising. You have more of the numbers with you this time around. The Omen is also all the way through C main. So if they ended up there, could have been very bad. But this is very good because that's not what's happening here.
Yeah, a weird moment in this round where we've got an Omen all the way down C long. We've got just one on B. Alarm bot still activated with 30 to go. And Cumberland really with no space on the map. They have mid, but it's the one area UGA wants them to be in. They're going to try to hightail this one all the way through lane.
Yeah, but she still had tints in bankside the entire time. They couldn't do anything with that ISCO. You spray, you pray, and someone is listening because you got the double kill, buddy. This gives it so much more room to work with if you're UGA Black. But this is always so important to talk about. Do not give the ones to Dorado especially. Play together. Play as a team, and it works like that. Sides Operator is looking beyond perfect right now, right? You get a 3K. More importantly, if you're UGA Black, you're in the lead.
I got your back. Just, from the front.
That they are. It comes down to just a very late round execute. Cumberland don't really work the map at all. They just kind of hold the space into mid, that space that UJ want them to have, basically work themselves directly into the funnel. They never made contact over towards C, which allowed for the Omen to fully walk down. Base holding all that space tells you all you need to know for UGA, that there's no contact in this direction. They're not going to play Garage without at least splitting something into long as well. So really just need to do a better job of defaulting. Never really did anything for the first minute of the round.
Give it a collide and a blow on top of that. This goes going to give that Hunter's Fury even more mileage off the back of that. And then Tense cleans it all up. UGA Black only losing 2 in that round, but everything is coming up roses for this team.
Man, UGA really starting to put it to him. Side a good read to move the op over. Finds too early. A collat to come through. You love to see it, especially if you are Side in the UGA side of things. Happy to have it. Cumberland, yet again, it's the same heavy mid-leaning default. We saw them run it before. Last rifle round, weren't able to convert it. It was a 30-second late execute. Tried to work link, tried to get some extra spacing, ended up getting caught instead. I think possibly the fear here is just where is this operator? He's clearly hitting shots. I don't want him to shoot us. And thinking so much about how to get away that they haven't really thought how to work forwards.
Yeah, and this is also kind of the genius that you have from the KJ now, right? You put the turret in mid, you have the alarm bot inside of Garage, and that alarm bot, by the way, is good enough. Cumberland Rising gets hit by that, and they don't want to go any further than that. Your Neon's been vulnerable, and then Tense gets first blood. It's just the UGA Black train feels like it has no brakes. Where now, side is landing headshots with an operator of all things. But it's still Cumberland Rising on B side. It's still them maybe getting the spike planted. It's taking a little bit of time to get there, right? Don't want to lose any body off of some crazy Odin spray. Maybe you can even get Brent Zach here. Yes, you can. The 3v3 now.
Even numbers.
Deploying
Still
30 seconds
holding on
left.
to all this space C long. For Cumberland, you got no idea that this Omen's going to be here. You haven't checked it a single round. That's the thing about defaulting so heavy to mid. They just don't have info on the site itself. They do their due diligence to actually check, though. Aftershock's going to come through. So Geo heads up play to recognize, well, we haven't checked this, so let me check it now. Forcibly clears it out.
One enemy
Drado
remaining.
going to have positioning onto Lynx, pick up first.
Shadows traveling.
Yeah, you put down the smoke over there. You TP, try to fake them out. It worked for a second. Isco readjusted, but it wasn't quick enough. The Odin working against them. And finally, for Cumberland Rising, the sunshine peeking through the overcast clouds that UGA Black has been casting over them.
Still good econ from UGA. They have another bye after this round as well. So not out the woodwork just yet. If you are CU, you need this round and the round after to really feel like you've got control back of this game. And yet again, it's going to be that same work. They do start to move some resources over towards A. They'll put 3 in destruction instead. And actually now they move everything out of mid. So they'll work this one hard, but it's Isco looking to counter. Good trade. So they have the 1-1 there.
It takes a different kind of player. It takes a player like Gerardo to willingly step into Odin spray and still land your headshot. Meanwhile, side, this is a really good chance for them, right? Because you have a free Sova inside of their owl drone. You can't resist. You cannot. Sexy Giraffe has elected to forego the rest of the team. So you've left 2 players, right? It's the 2 players that need to get onto A site. They're just gonna put up and just walk through it. There's no fear from this player whatsoever, but they do go over to the C site from Gerardo, step into the shadows to try and win the 2v4 for the retake from UGA Black.
They found my wire.
See if they can get the job done here. Wire's broken very early. They will throw a cage up to stall for a bit of time. Paranoia is going to come through. Requires the second cage to come out. They do have that cam though, so they know nothing long. It's all coming from CT.
Last player standing.
All right, it's down to Gerardo. And I got flashbacks. I got deja vu for a second. But Sidon, this operator, has just been a completely
This
different part of the equation. And UGA Black steps boldly forward into an 11th round 1. And maybe even bringing us into map number 3.
The odds definitely look good for it. Cumberland's rebuy. Do manage to pull it off even without loss bonus any longer. It's the last buy they're really confidently getting here though. If UJ pushes the match point, you have to think they're able to close this one out. Cumberland yet again want to take it towards A. You know, the op hasn't been there at the very least. Even if they did get caught by Isco, I think they've got a better idea of it this time. They'll dart their way in. You got to hope that they do. This round could be over in a hurry.
Yeah, I like that. You put the cam up forward. Sexy Giraffe knowing that someone's going to have to be here. Rolling Thunder to get the entry in, but UGA Back plays off and then responds in kind with one of their own. The aftershock to try and slow things down to keep them safe. Facey just walking in there, buddy. Immediate follow through from Sexy Giraffe, but it's still UGA Black faltering at all moments here at the very final seconds of this round. Cumberland Rising. They remembered who they are. They remembered what's at stake, and they remember a grand finals is just, they don't want that map 3, Cat. They don't want that.
Not at all. It's a good call from UGA there to throw the Rolling Thunder, but they throw it so early. They're trying to beat them. You know that Rolling Thunder's probably going into post plant. They try to throw it pre-plant because that Rolling Thunder means everyone's going to look to immediately flood that site. The issue is no one's out yet. They only catch one under heaven. They don't catch anybody else. It allows for UGA to still set up and be ready. And it honestly hurts them instead of helping them because they have to play the retake so much faster.
Ooh, this is a good adjustment too, right? You put the smoke on A main to cover from the operator or from the Odin, and they know it's not the Odin because there's no spray through from it. So they had to be careful that it's the operator. They're looking all over the place. Instead, Side is going to play on the site. Activate that tailwind if I were you, buddy. Play it a little bit safer here. There's so many players over on the other side. Cumberland Rising could get the trade out, but it is going to cost them someone if they want to take the fight against Side with the op. And there it is, right? One player down, but Sexy Giraffe has the immediate trade.
Yeah, good trade. Surprised that they didn't use the breach util into that one. It still works out for them. I mean, they went a little fast and they probably needed to. Plant goes down. Isco chasing so heavily actually gives another pick over to the Neon.
That's the problem that we're seeing from UGA Black and Cumberland Rising at the same time. They get so caught in the tunnel vision. Here's the thing, though. This lockdown isn't going to meet any resistance. So the only places that you're going to look at is the corner that they can hide from. But UGA Black still needs to get there. Here's the after. Here's the fault line. That is so brilliantly timed. Sexy Giraffe is going to fall, but you still have the majority of players alive for Cumberland Rising. Base needs to get in their face. Paranoia out, but Dorado was over there on the flip. Again, a matter of less than a second, Cat.
It's Gerardo coming up in the clutch yet again. Picks up 3. The meat shield was good, but it just wasn't enough. The spray gets back on track just in time and is able to pull the diffuser away. Man, it's a lot of work done on that lockdown. They time the util as well around it to grab a pick. They isolate players, and they really go all in on that defuse. It just wasn't enough, though. It comes down to .11.
Go, go, go.
The margins get narrower and narrower every time, right? 0.41 on Sunset, 0.11 on Haven. If I were UGA Black, I'd be cursing fractions right now, or decimals, or whatever. But at the end of the day, right, it's still a tied game. UGA Black is on their econ round, though. They don't have any money to buy anything. And so for Cumberland Rising, I don't want to say surefire thing for them to be able to, because UGA Black has been more than eager to prove us wrong about that. But this is still in their in their court to be able to get this round back for themselves. But that fault line down C long is going to force them to go all the way back over to A, where signs of life, none.
Good read for UGA. There's nothing. There's no contact after the initial relay ball. It means they cannot be here, and they certainly aren't. So they're already ready to go A. Spike took so long to get here, and it's a great dart from Isco over the top to take one.
Dorado, one shot is all they need. Got to go for another one, but Signs Blades are going to guide them to victory. And you have Sexy Giraffe 12, who'd been going on this lurk play all the way on C. They did get somebody, but their entire team's gone, right?
Yeah.
They don't have Spike anymore. And that Catinator is why I said this is not a surefire thing for them to win. So for Sexy Giraffe 12, they're running out of time. There is no time, right? There is no more time. You have to save your weapon. And Isco is going to make sure that does not happen. Oh.
Sacrificed for nothing.
Wait.
That'll probably be it. Probably no contact here. That'll end the round there. It's match point for UGA. One that they almost lose. To be honest, they have positioning. They have a really good defensive read. They grab that spike, and they start playing it so quickly. It's kind of the same thing we saw from them when they use that early Rolling Thunder, trying to prevent having to put themselves in a post-plant situation. They start peaking, and fortunately for them, they just happen to win the trades. Because that one comes incredibly close. I think the big issue for them on that Rolling Thunder round was half the team was like, okay, it's time to play forward. We already used the ult. There's no going back now. Half the team was still looking to play post plant. This time they were all on the same page. All right, we're gonna push this one. We have Spike down. Let's make sure it doesn't get planted. And they do a good job of working together to make sure those trades come through.
We're in the Wild West right now. I mean, UGA Black is on match point. Hunter's Fury, Sexy Giraffe being tracked down by this ultimate. Small amount of damage, but not on the target I think UGA Black was expecting. You're still happy that you got something from this at the very least. And now look at Cumberland Rising. Kat, it feels like a chicken without a head right now. They don't know where they want to go. Or rather, should I say, a phoenix without a head. They're all over the place. And this push, they're dumping util, but not doing anything with it.
Hi, I'm pissed.
Overdrive out here to garage.
Shock it.
Util expended early defensively. Oh, really good flash. Gives that one up for the Neon. A second picked up as well. Back aside and not done just yet. It's 3-on-1. A lot to do for Zach and can't get it done.
Oh my gosh, Sexy Giraffe. Again, a moment where someone from Cumberland Rising needs to shine. They're blinding their way through this side. How much more mileage do you have out of this operator, though? Especially when you're the last player alive. Right, you've got to win now a 1v3. And what do you do if you're Cumberland Rising? You just get out of there. You don't fight that. You have the numbers advantage. You have a Cypher on the lurk, Sexy Giraffe 12. Get caught inside of it, pull out the shorty. You see them off the side of your eye, the FOV wide enough. And Cumberland Rising has brought us into
Switching
overtime.
sides.
They managed to put the
Overtime.
pieces back together, and what better timing. The back half of the defensive side goes their way. They just played a pretty solid defensive half to start the game as well. So the side they'd like to be on here, if they can make it happen, we'll see what the case ends up being for them. It is no op back into this one. Not a ton of opping going on for CU, so not surprised that they would pick one up. Don't really have a great agent to pick it up either. On the other end of this one, side not wanting to bring it into the offensive. So we're going to look at just these rifles. I think the early stages of this attacking round really comes down to, does UGA get caught by anything sewers? There's really nothing to get caught by. And where do they finish? Most specifically, they're a team that also, similar to their opponent, really likes early default one player in one direction and then just try to take B later into the round, which is exactly what CU's reading for right now.
Well, CU gets a little bit of extra time to read. We're inside of a tech pause. Sexy Giraffe looking like they hit that disconnect button. something going on over there. So I think a good time here too for both of these teams to, at the very least, be able to decompress for a second, breathe for a moment, Kat, because I think I'm also in kind of that similar situation. Both of these maps so far, even if Cumberland were able to win here on Haven, have been so close that a 2-0 isn't going to what's been happening, because the first map is 13-11, where the difference between that map was less than a second. And now we're having it here on overtime for Haven, where we're seeing a lot of those similarities happening. And both of these teams are really good at fixing their mistakes, and they're really good at falling back into them when they, gain the lead, when they get the foot a step above the other. So the way this map is going, I really don't know how this is going to pan out for either side or for whatever's going to be happening here.
Yeah, we said at the top of the map that Cumberland, a team that's coming off a pretty confident Haven win. UJ, this is their map pick, a map they obviously feel very strong on as well, and certainly has been exactly that, right? Both these teams, even playing field, now back in overtime, new game, but this one doesn't last nearly as long. It's too straight to win it. So that definitely does tell us how close this map was going to be, and that was indeed accurate. But as you mentioned, last map really comes down to, for Cumberland, just hitting some shots in some key moments.
Yeah.
It comes down to the goal line stand. That was that final defuse. And we've seen some of those moments already back into this game. I mean, we have a .11 last frag to prevent a defusal in this game. So we certainly have seen the exact same case. And it really comes down to Cumberland get this lead in both halves. And what is the story? It is the vibe-based Valorant starting to take over when they start winning. And suddenly UGA, they have a door to open, and they've continued to walk through it.
Yeah, the discipline goes out the door. And you also got to think back to that .11 second round, Catnator, because if UGA Black won that, we'd be waiting for a cent. That'd be on the docket. That'd be loaded up. Sure. So yeah, Haven is just the gift that continues to keep on giving. Both of the teams are the gift that keeps on giving. And this upper finals, well, you could have told me it was grand finals and I would have believed you, but now it's time for overtime.
From there, a different case here. They are going to push sewer at the very least. Now, there were a couple rounds where we saw the Neon for Cumberland kind of push into this extra spacing. That might be what they're reading for here, but you got to keep an eye on the timer as this round goes on. How long do they try to bait this one pick, and how much less space do they gain because of it?
I mean, Cumberland Rising isn't falling for anything right now, right? They are locked in on A site, and they're going to rely on trips and the camera inside of Garage and an Omen play in B. But UGA Black is running out of time for that rotate. So if they want to go for it, it needs to happen now because it's 30 seconds on the clock. And this is a really late rotate. If you're going all the way to C, it's not happening. You have end on B. And that's exactly what's happening. Smoke's going to go up, fault line to follow. You need to wait for just a second longer, and you get Dorado first blood here for UGA Black. Spike to be planted shortly after.
Good util usage to find that one, and that's the player who's really been coming up in the clutch. A player that you definitely want dead. SG's in, he's pulled focus. That's 12 will pick up 2. It's Zach for the back of sight though. Good for 3, a wall bang for the Neon. And suddenly it's a 1v1, has Lightning Lane as well, so is able to start to work on the defuse.
It's just Isco doing it. No! Sexy Giraffe. Oh my goodness. If Sova had an operator, they had no other choice but to try with that frenzy. They weren't confident enough. Not like side. Oh, you gotta be kicking yourself right now.
Oh, it shows remnants of Sunset. It's SG3 yet again to somehow jump off Spike, hold strong, and convert that frag. Picks it up and now puts this team 1 round away from winning on a half where they went on a 6-1 run. So confident they can take this attacking side. They just have to play it smart. Side goes to force the glass cannon operator. Is that enough to push UGA Black into a second overtime?
Yeah, side, if you're going to hold this angle, you got to remember what happened last time, though. And you're even further along than previously thought. This time, though, they're playing the aggressive game. How did they get that one? How? Even being traded out, that was a nanosecond of time to work with. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But it's still, look how far Sexy Giraffe has gotten in onto the B site. They can even call out for rotates, right? They hear all of the footsteps happening around them and from anyone going to CT. Ooh, tense.
Tense creeping up sewer here. You're gonna have a fight with John, who's won it confidently. Oh, it's 2 overextensions on the A side of the map, and it's 2 players dead for the defense.
Oh, and then Sexy Giraffe is... Look at this. They've been so patient. They've been playing the quiet game. And it may give them everything because Cumberland Rising, it's not A. It was never going to be A. It's always C. Base, you gotta clear that corner. Awareness level put to the maximum has given UGA Black the chance, the hope that they need. A 3v3.
Waiting on a really long lurk here. This Rolling Thunder is going to kill some time to make sure they're not going to instantly push into this one. Baze waited for nobody. Dead in the flank hasn't even arrived.
Oh my god. And now you gotta hope that the Isco flank is gonna get them something here. It's all on their shoulders. Otherwise, Cumberland Rising goes into the grand finals uncontested, undefeated, 2-0. 14-12 on Haven. Cumberland Rising.
It comes down to the wire. It certainly does. But man, it's just that flank hasn't shown up yet. It's those moments where this team has looked so good in macro. UGA constantly pushing it in terms of team play. But this time, it's the nerves that get to them. It breaks them down. Baz is out of the smoke with no refrag. They do not have the flank set up yet, and they're already out the door. Both those players dead CT before he even arrives on C long. It's tough. You hate to see it. But man, the effort from UGA Black certainly was there.
Yeah, and I think the stats are going to show that, right? With how well both of these teams have been playing. I mean, you have 5 first bloods from side. That's what you want from your Jet. That's what you need from your Jet. And that was a big question mark. How is the duelist matchup going to go between the Neon and the Jet? Well, side managed to prove that in spades. Sexy Giraffe was kind of struggling to get the momentum going, but I mean, when you have Sexy Giraffe 12, putting up 26 and 19, that's all you need sometimes.
Yeah, that's the only thing is the case can really show up. SG3, if you will, can really show up, but even losing that matchup still has the rest of the team to bank on. Everybody from CU able to hit shots, and when you have your util players, your Omens, your Cyphers, your Breach or your Gecko when it comes to map 1, being able to hit big shots in top leaderboards, there's so much less pressure on your duel. It also allows for your Neon to just be a bait player, to walk in, to get fragged, but the knowledge that a refrag is right behind them really does push some of the rounds for CU.
At this point, Kat, I wouldn't be surprised if we have a rematch going into the grand finals of Cumberland versus UGA Black. But they do have to, for UGA Black, accomplish the lower bracket run, which I don't think we have those teams ready just yet. I think we're going through some of them right now. But, I mean, if you're Cumberland Rising, right? You know what the competition is looking like, and you know you have a lot of work going into the grand finals, leading into it, that you have to fix, that you have to get corrected. Otherwise, right, it's going to be a tough battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the big story here is that UGA's macro looked very good. Very good team play on both sides of each map. They do a good job of playing around each other, and it really does come down to sometimes the shots are just on. So you got to lock in on some aim training, perhaps, maybe get the mechs up while you can. But when it comes down to this matchup of what is looking like brute force strength, if we can't win the macro, we'll win the fights against a team that's playing really well as a team. It comes down to, okay, let's go back and look at this VOD. Let's look at fights where we have these raw gun duels, like specifically like Gerardo, those two 4Ks should never exist, right? Like there should be a fault line there. There should be a flashpoint there. And we get this one big piece of utility to get UGA into sites or into retakes, but there's no follow-up ever. Like you've seen the clips, right? It's not just one fault line. It's a fault line that leads right into a dizzy. Now there's a flashpoint, and suddenly a player on backside has been able to play the game for the last 20 seconds. And that's not what we're seeing from UGA, right? It's good getting them in, but it's the extra little bit of condiment on top. Like I don't just want a cheese pizza. I want some pepperoni too. I want some bacon. Give me a little more. And that's what we need to see from them if they are going to win a rematch.
Kat, I don't know anymore, but all I know is I'm hungry right now, and I'm feeling like some pizza for some reason, or maybe even some Winzel's Farm jerky. You can go and check out right now, or if you're feeling a little thirsty, you need to re-energize after that crazy game. Our players definitely need to go and check out !G Fuel. Type in NECC 20, save 20% off of your G Fuel order. And Catnator, the action does not stop. So make sure you hit that follow button, because tomorrow we have League of Legends. Wednesday, we have Rainbow Six. Thursday, we have Rocket League. Smash tomorrow as well. And Overwatch 2 on Friday. Make sure you get it all in, because next week is Thanksgiving break. There's not going to be any streams from us here at NECC. But buddy, it's so good to have you on here. It was great to sit down, talk about the great game of Valorant with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure, Sam. Always a pleasure to see these NECC games as well. We're getting down to the wire. Well, just a couple teams left. It's going to be real tight.
Yeah, I mean, when we come back from Thanksgiving break, that's it. It's the grand finals. We are going to be in for an exciting time there. You want to give a big shout out to our behind the scenes production staff as well for always doing a phenomenal job. And hey, again, hit that follow button. Make sure you're as well as the notification bell, so that way you know when we go live. We also have a YouTube channel where all of this is happening as well. But until the next stream, everyone, we'll see you then.